Well, well, well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Podcast Thursday. It's Podcast Thursday. Oh, my goodness. So I get a little frazzled and very excited to see you guys that sometimes I get a little off, but it's okay. We're here. I'm here. You're here. We're all here. The gang's all here. Amen. Let's get it crack a lacking. So, date nights. Are you and your significant other making time for each other? That's what we're going to talk about today on Wishes for the World. And I think it's important. I mean, I know that all of us are not, may or may not be, may or may not be unencumbered, but the regardless of what's going on, it's important that you spend time and make time for the person that you love and that you care about. So important. So today we're talking about spending quality time with your mate. And I always see some really good stuff and really good things going on the social media about each other, about how people spend time with one another. And I think that's awesome. I think it's a blessing to be in a relationship. And it's something that, like, I don't know why, but like a lot of times in entertainment, people always say, oh, don't tell people you got a mate, or don't tell people. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking for something as usual. Okay, here we go. Don't tell somebody you got a mate, or don't tell anyone this or that, or what have you. And I don't think that that's necessarily acceptable, because if you're dating someone, why not share it? It's a blessing to have someone in your life, and occasionally, things go awry. And I guess that's why a lot of people in entertainment say to keep it to yourself or what have you. But I don't believe personally that things go awry because you're in entertainment. I think things can go awry when it comes down to the way that people, no, 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 no. I'm going to put you in your cage. The way that people take care of one another in the relationship. So it's very important to be, um, there for one another, and that's basically why what we're talking about on our first segment. There for one another. The reality is that when it comes down to being being with your mate or whatnot, you need to make sure that you are spending that quality time. There are so many scenarios in life today where people get busy and they forget about being with those that they love, or those that mean the most to them and mean the most to us, or what have you. So it's so important that we, like I said, make sure that we spend that time with one another. Date nights, are you regularly scheduling um, date nights just basically to enjoy each other? I think it's huge. It's a huge part of the relationship, and it's very important to make sure that you're here uh, for one another, or you're there for one another. But there are a couple of things you could do on date night. Like, I think cooking together. I think that is so awesome when people do cooking events together, or they go to cooking classes. There are so many places that are out there these days, and all you got to do is Google it, look it up. You know, Another thing is outdoor activities, like go for hikes or rides. I love to roller skate, so that would be an awesome couple day, is to roller skate and be out there on picnics and nature, just to connect with each other, and the outdoors. They always talk about how the outdoors can bring on positive endorphins and things like that, just to kind of help you get to that next step. You know, We hear so much today, especially in the celebrity world, unfortunately, about divorces. Joe Jonas files for divorce from Sophie Turner, and that is what, they've been together for some time. And I remember they used to have a show, and so watching the show would basically give you butterflies because they were seemingly so in love. And I always wonder, like, when people do get into these scenarios, are they trying everything to prevent themselves from divorcing or not being together? I mean, is there a way that you can prevent your marriage from, going awry? I think one of the biggest things that happen or are that people start talking to their friends and people that really don't have anything to do with your relationship. And so when that happens, you could pretty much, believe that things are going to start going to the left because other people feel like they have more to say in the relationship than the individuals actually in the relationship. So it's really sad, and it's I have hope that people that fall in love stay in love. I mean, it is what it is. But the best would the best thing that you could do is find exciting things about even your love life, different sex positions, games, ask 100 questions to get to know them better, because no matter how much you're with someone, you might not know that you don't know them the way that you want to know them. And even if you've been with them for a long time, a lot of people say you've been with someone forever, but you still don't know the person. So play games, what can you do to make your love life and your relationship better? There's people that talk about taking a break in your relationship, and then, it's crazy because there's an argument about when someone cheated, if it was a break, and there's never a consensus between those people in those relationships on whether or not the break was something that allowed them to be unfaithful. If you have issues, you should ask questions to each other to make sure that you understand where you're at, where you're coming from. By now in most relationships, you probably have to um, pick and choose different places that each other enjoys for dinner, your favorite restaurants. Maybe you enjoy cocktails in a nearby bar or Netflix and chill, whatever that is. But you also are responsible for spicing it up. I always say, don't just be the girlfriend, be the wife. Well, a friend of mine used to say that all the time, and I kind of adopted it. But I think it's appropriate to say that because, even if you're married to someone, do not stop being their girlfriend, because in that girlfriend stage or boyfriend stage, you always do things to impress the other, or you do things to make sure that they stay happy. But sometimes, if you branch out into the relationship outside of your usual one-on-one routines, it can make a positive impact on your relationship. And that's what you want. It's easy to fall into a rut when you get used to one another and you're just like, oh, it's simple to take your partner for granted and say, excuse me. So that is that I say, or should I go? Should I stay or should I go? Is usually the question that comes up if you get bored or if you have problems. But you got to mix it up a little bit. Your relationship has to remain interesting, and you have to continue to discover new things with one another. I remember watching Dr. Phil years ago, and he always said that him and his wife never fell out of love at the same time. And so sometimes, you might get discouraged or upset or frustrated with one another. And that's perfectly understandable because people get on your nerves, right? So, when things like that actually come up, it's important to have ideas that are totally different. Because if you do, then you all can kind of talk about that and move to something that can it be a little bit more exciting to each of you. It's so important. A lot of people consult relationship therapists for their ideas or different things that they have questions about, and that's perfectly okay as well. But the thing about it is you have to find different things to help you stay together, and you can't take your relationship, like I said, for granted. But if you find new things to take your relationship on different levels, you'll be surprised. You can basically take your relationship to new levels. So like, let's say you check out a new neighborhood together. Maybe you are going to move. Maybe you're not moving, but you probably know your area pretty well. But it's easy to bypass the neighborhoods around you and to check out like local coffee shops and in town areas that maybe like maybe a town over or a suburb over. Like I live in LA, and there's so many areas of LA, and maybe you're in another city that's big in a metropolis that has different little areas as well. Check out different neighborhoods down the road. You know what I mean? Do different things that can inspire you to think about the future, because that's where we are. you know I truly and strongly believe that when it comes down to life in general, that if you start putting things in your head that are negative, then you will actually progress towards that negativity. So you want to be positive. You want to put positivity in your head and start progressing towards the positive things. And that's the same with your relationship. Start thinking about the future and think about things that you can enjoy together. Like I said, you may not be moving, but at least you can enjoy things. Maybe you just go to an open house to get an idea of what something bigger and better than what you have might be. You might plan a themed dinner. This is really cool because, think maybe you want to make it a French night. French food, drink French wine, watch a French movie together. Hopefully, there'll be some way to understand it, because I know a lot of times if you're watching movies, you don't want to fill with the subtitles, but you want to create great memories, and creating novel fun for each other and together can bring out some of the higher aspects of your relationship. So you want to make sure, maybe it's Italian or maybe it's anything, but there are so many different things, and there's so many different ways for you to plan a themed dinner. It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific uh, uh, ethnicity or a specific cultural type of dinner. Maybe there's something else in the dinner that you want to plan. So that's important and that's awesome. Do a concert challenge. And this is really, really fun, I thought, because, like, how many times have you thought about music or something that you like, trivia, anything like that? And when you start questioning one another, you really get to see how much the other knows. So basically a concert challenge is you can go out and you buy tickets to a show that you want to see, and you just make sure it's for different nights. Okay, so you kind of want to talk about it. You say, okay, I'm gonna do Saturday, you do Sunday, or I'm gonna do Friday, you do Monday, whatever the situation is, and you can accompany each other to the concert of your choice. Now, the thing about it is, this is a great idea because it ensures that both of you get to hear the favorites of the other, but it also gives another person insight about their partner. So that's pretty cool. And it might even lead them to share old memories. So, like, oh, I remember when I was in high school and we talked about Prince. Who thought Prince would not be with us today? But the point is, you get to share those old memories. Um, I think this is really cool, especially if you like desserts. You can create a dessert sampler, and basically you can do different use different apps, but you can do entrees or whatever you like. you know um it's like an easy way basically just to try new things and just kind of spend less money or less time than you would at a restaurant. You know, you're getting to indulge in each other, but you're also indulging in new experiences, and you can create a shared sense of enjoyment. So that's pretty cool, whether it's chocolate or vanilla, and it kind of gives you an idea too to see how well you know your mate. You know, he or she might say, "Oh, I love red vanilla. I mean, uh, red velvet," and you may not have known that. So that's pretty cool. So, go see a play. Now, I love plays. Um, I I used to be in plays in a play, and it's just being in a live theater is really really cool. But if you both love to go to the movies, then a play can add a little spice or another twist to it as well. So it could be a way just kind of to mix it up a little bit and just have an artistic sense of things, and kind of have sort of a chance to be inspired by the art, because arts are, I think, are so cool. I love art myself, so that's a very exciting way. You can have a cocktail date at home, you know, get dressed up or get all sexy. You could even be in lingerie. But you could do this basically like if you were going out, you kind of get up, get dressed up, but you're going to make your drinks at home. And then you don't always have to go out to create date night. Just keep that in mind. You don't always have to go out. But you could try a new workout class together. Now, I've seen people do this, you know, especially when you are trying to spice things up a little bit, you know, where people do different types. There's so many types of workout classes nowadays, but on the both of you would probably have your own thing going on at the gym. So he or she or they or whomever would be exercising together, but you can be very excited about it, and it could be a very bonding experience as one of your planned events as couples. A little stray hair, but also trying something that neither of you have ever done before. And then you try it, and then it sparks some new conversation and a team building opportunity at home. So that's pretty cool as well. But maybe you want to just chill. So you sit and watch the stars come out, and hopefully they come out in your area, because sometimes it's a little cloudy, a little polluting, can kind of block that. But it works to at any budget, and it's very romantic. Okay. And a lot of times you can even have a conversation about what you'd wish for if you spotted a shooting star. Now that's cool. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Love it. And even if you live in a city and you're staring at the moon, um, and you know it's taking you into the evening sights, it can be a good time to be put distress everything, because um, the skyline of, you know, New York or Manhattan, New York, or somewhere could be just as unwinding and lovely as well. So don't put it out of the question if you don't see stars. Okay. But visit a museum. Now, I love the arts, as I stated. And I like when I do my topics on my podcast, obviously I like to do things that kind of bring some of my weaknesses to the forefront. And dang, I finally got that hair. And even if I'm not dating someone or going on a date, I want to make things good for me on my social in my social life. And that's something that I'm really working on, because I can get complacent and just be focusing on monetary things. And once those things work out, I'm sitting here holding the bag, but I don't have anything to do. So I'm really trying to focus on social activities. And I love the museum. But in your relationship, you could visit the museum together. You know, think about it. When was the last time you did something like that together? But you could find a cool exhibit. I love installations, and both of you can enjoy one another's company. Maybe there are things that both of you are into, and you spend some solid time and just exploring new art together. You know, if you regularly enjoy art and culture, this helps to ground your relationship in a mutual and a nourishing, experiencing type of way, because it's putting you out there. You know what I mean? I think this is my favorite in my list is The massages. I love massages. You can do uh, massages, get fancy essentials, oils, slip into some skimpy clothing and take turns. And, well, filling each other up, always is a winner. You can't go wrong with that. So it's very nice to massage one another. Or you could hit up an amusement park. I mean, every city has an amusement park. I remember in Kansas, we would have Worlds of Fun. Here in Los Angeles, we have Disney, and we have some other amusement parks, Knott's Berry Farm, a lot of different places. And you could hit those up, especially around this time of year. They have Oktoberfest and there's pumpkin patch, all kinds of cool things. But there's zero reason not to go to an amusement park when you're an adult, period. You can enjoy the amusement park just as much as a child could, especially since it's, you know, more serious excitement that it could bring to your relationship, which is cool. And it could be childlike fun, and it could take you to a place where you didn't think you could go, but also past some of the negativity that may have been experiencing through the week that you may been experiencing through the week. But it makes the world seem more manageable when you lighten up the mood, right? So this is an exciting opportunity, an amusement park, and get all the food. And you sit there and you think about that, play the games, and win your mate a present. I love that. I love the teddy bears and I love the gifts. But also bake a cake for a reason only you both know. Maybe you are baking a cake because this was the first date of that month, that this is the date in that particular month that you all met in high school or at the club or whatever. But you could do this just because you want to, or again, because you have something to celebrate, like a fun milestone, your relationship that you're going through, an anniversary, the first time you had sex, having cake together. But, a board game night. Oh God, I love playing board games. Monopoly was my favorite, but there's so many new ones out there. Jenga, chess, checkers, Scrabble, Connect Four. You could just spend the night playing board games. And games are a great way to connect. You can even spice up the stakes, like the winner gets a favor from the runner up who's doing dishes for a week, stuff like that. So a board game is awesome. Buy a ticket to a sports game. We got the Dodgers here, and the Raiders, and out in Oakland, the Rams, and whatever it is in your town. You can make a whole weekend of it and just explore it. You can even travel to a spot that you want to go see a game. Also, you can try to recreate each other's favorite childhood dishes. Obviously, most kids like pizza and spaghetti and what have you, but this only works if you both had good ideas and good dishes during your childhood. But it can lead to some story swapping. And again, this is a sweet moment, and it can make a nice way to share memories with one another. So that's cool. Create your own little book club. Wow. For two. Let's say you both like to read and you make your own intimate book club, and you take turns picking which book you're going to read, and have a meeting once a month or talk about the book. Reading a book together can also be a really lovely experience. Reading it out loud together. Pretty awesome. Blind taste test for wine. Ooh, that sounds exciting. You grab a few wines from a local liquor store or local wine store, or even go to a winery. Like here in LA, there's so many beautiful wineries, and they have a beautiful ambiance. But you can get like the best, which ones you like the best, and then based on your taste, you can be alone, pick the ones that you like, but you blindfold each other and do a blind taste test and wines at home. And it's just straight up fun. And it's a great, great way to try something new together. So here's one that I like. Pick a random spot on a map and go there together. Oh my God, I've seen this before. And so people pick a random spot, and the randomness of the plan helps make things very exciting for the two of you. But you have a B plan located just in case the place turns out to not be quite what you hope for. But yeah, picking a random spot on the map, whatever. But go online. Also, this is another awesome date night or an awesome opportunity for couples is to go online and wireless for the night. Don't use your cell phones, iPhones, iPads, tablets at any of any sort. But that means no TV, no internet, no phones, just the two of you. Go back in the day, hanging out. See if you can do something other than have sex because you want to connect on different levels. But it's a great way to have a deeper conversation and laugh together. It's just being completely offline, under the grid. Go camping. Now, I can't say I wouldn't, but if I'm with someone that I love and I appreciate and that I enjoy, I might, escape the rest of the world for the weekend and enjoy the outdoors. You know, have a campfire, make s'mores, and enjoy, frying fish that you've caught from the crook, from the creek. Just find a park you've always wanted to visit and rent some um, kayaks or something you're both going to enjoy and have to put in some effort to resolve problems and keep the conversation flowing. Putting the tent together is a good thing. Maybe you watch each other's favorite TV show. Now, you might like medical shows. She might like, law shows or whatever the scenario is. You probably have the shows you want to watch alone, but take a night or two and both celebrate each other by watching the other's favorite show. It gets the at a fine art to compromise, and that's what we're talking about tonight is working together as your couple, as a couple, the things that you can do with your mate to solidify your relationship, to lock it in and to become more. You may be surprised if one of you becomes a convert of the other's favorite show. But if you realize you're just not into each other's TV taste, it's no harm, no foul. You will have celebrated what the other liked and you would have made them feel wanted and appreciated. And also create a mini garden together. I think that is awesome. I love doing things that have to do with nature as well. So you can try this whether it's warm or cold where you live. You can, if it's warm out, go crazy, designing and planning a little garden together, in an apartment, you get your little boxes and set it up and have the different types of plants or herbs that you like to cook with. I love cooking with herbs, so that would be great. But crank up some laid back music, and it's billowing from the inside while you're out on the deck and you're setting up your little plant holder. And gardening is a great way to connect to the natural and world and to one another while you're doing it, because you can learn about different things that you may not have known about, especially when you're shopping for those plants to that you want to plant. Take a pottery or a painting class together. I think that's wonderful. It reminds you of Ghost, right? Where you can really get into the artistry classes and try something new and artistic. It can speak volumes to your relationship and your creativity. Go on a pizza crawl. Oh, I like this. I remember seeing that. I like watching couple shows, and I remember seeing that on the show. And they actually went out and bought pizza from different places, and the other person had to guess where the pizza came from. But every area has at least a few options for pizza, and so hit up all the spots near you and split a slice, pizza or whatever. But it could be a nice evening out, and you'll get full for sure. But open up to new places and push yourself out of the comfort zone. Have a picnic in the park. This is awesome. Better yet, go to a park you've never been to before. Explore a new green space together. There's a lot of beach parks here in LA. Have a random gift challenge. Now, this is exciting. You know, you can think of a little white elephant for two. You can have a challenge each other and find the coolest, most random gifts on Amazon for under $5. And then you wrap them and you swap them on your own party to unveil the present rather. And then it becomes very fun. And then each of you likes getting gifts. So, it also takes the pressure out of uh, giving in terms of money and getting something that you just don't know is like, oh, is this going to be right? It's just fun. So gift giving is cool. Take a hike Hiking is awesome. There's a lot of nice places in a lot of places of the world where the beauty exudes our area. And this way, you both get to work towards the common goal. Make a list of vacation spots you want to join, and anytime um, anything in that's aspiring vacation, the future that you want to share together, a dream home, which is great. Teach each other a new hobby. I love pool. Maybe I want to teach someone. Maybe someone wants to teach me ping pong. And most importantly, last but definitely not least, have lots and lots of sex. Great, guys. This has been our edition of Wishes for the World. And my wish to you is that your relationship becomes so much more enriched, that you become more and more in love, and that you will rise to new levels as a couple. And never forget the person you fell in love with. Stay together, guys. It's all the best. And love and happiness to all of you. We'll be back with our next segment of trending topics about our celebrities. So come on back, guys.